Year 8, the Internet and World Wide Web, all for your assessment next week. Okay, the Internet's made up of loads of different computers and it's all the hardware. Laptops, games consoles, PCs, tablets, mobile phones, cables, any device connected to the Internet is part of this network, so it can get bigger and bigger. You all know what we use the Internet for. We're talking storing information, watching Mr. Bell's TikToks, entertainment, playing online games, online shopping, and much more. However, the Internet cannot be confused with the World Wide Web. They're two different things. The World Wide Web is all the pages on the Internet that can be viewed in a web browser. Now, a web browser is used to access these websites. You type in a web address into the address bar at the top. It sends a request to the web server where the website stores the files, and then they're sent back. Chrome, Edge, Firefox, all examples of web browsers. Now, the World Wide Web is pretty big, so to search things on it, we would use a search engine, and it allows you to look up all this information that's on the World Wide Web. Very sorry for the screen flicker, by the way. Here are some facts, okay? When you type something into a search engine like Google, it's called a search query, and basically it compares the search query through all of its web pages to find the one that is most relevant to you. But when we're using the Internet, we have to be aware of some of the dangers. Firstly, you want to make sure that you are looking at a website that says HTTPS and it's got a padlock. It means it's secure, means that messages are encrypted, and it's very secure. Malware, short for malicious software, is also kind of an issue, and it's sometimes downloaded from email attachments or websites that are not properly protected. Then you get them dodgy phishing emails, which is trying to trick someone into giving out information over email, usually a link to a fake website that looks like the real one, and then the hackers steal your data as you type it in. So watch out for them. Got to watch out for fake news on the Internet, you know, and including TikTok as well. Made up stories and information, persuade people to think a certain way, or clickbait. We don't like clickbait. Clickbait is bad and it's annoying. You know, I spoke about malicious software earlier. We've got to protect ourselves against that. So we use things such as an antivirus software. Protects your computer from malware such as viruses and stuff. It scans the computer, and it means that it needs to be updated regularly so it can remove and recognise new viruses too. You also might use a firewall, which is basically security between you and the Internet, making sure that the incoming and outgoing traffic is all good and nothing is dodgy, and it looks for unauthorized websites and it kind of blocks them. Pretty good. Now, if you're starting a business, you might decide to look at search engine optimization, which is taking your web page and making it appear higher in Google. So it will be higher if the quality of the content is good, if it's got more keywords, if it's got links from one website to another, if you post frequently, and also don't have loads of text and break it up using headers and pictures and stuff. Now, this is a lot of writing, but essentially search engines don't actually search the whole Internet when you run a search. It has an index, which is a database which contains all the information from every web page, and these web crawlers or spiders, they crawl the Internet to bring back key information and add the website to the index. And billions of web pages are indexed every day. It takes literally a fraction of a second to bring you the search results. You can also use these and, or, not, and speech marks, which can help narrow or widen our search, and these are called Boolean operators. And don't forget, we've got the end of website addresses like .co.uk, .com. We also have .edu for educational sites, .gov for governmental sites, and .org for organisational sites. One thing you've got to be aware of when you're using the Internet is copyright, and you might want to check the usage rights on images and things that you use in your work. You have Creative Commons licenses, which are usually free, but you might need to credit the artist, may have some restrictions, and you have commercial or other licenses. So these are free to use. Watermarked images will need to be purchased, however. You can always check whether something's in the public domain, which means that the copyright no longer applies to it, which is pretty good. Copyright law protects original works such as writing, photos, or music. Copyright infringement is when somebody uses your work without asking for permission. Public domain is when work has no copyright protection. Content in the public domain, it can be modified, used and published without permission or restrictions. And finally, there is something about fair use which is true. It allows you to use brief portions of copyrighted material for education and news reporting. And that is an overview of the internet and the World Wide Web. Feel free to pause this video, share it with other people in your year group so that they know, and then, hopefully you'll do alright in your assessment. Safe.